In a game where Rodgers was held scoreless in the first half and failed to reach 200 passing yards in the game, the QB thinks it was the days leading up to the game that did Green Bay in. Take a listen.
We got to be, honest with our, our routine and decisions we made the last 48 hours, and make sure that our head's in the right place the next time we come on a big road trip. I don't think it was complacency at all. I just think that, whether it's the trip, not everybody taking care of themselves the right way over the 2 days, or we're just tired, or the differences in temperature. But those are just excuses, and the facts are that we weren't locked in from the start, and that's a little disappointing.
Okay, Shannon, what do you make of Rodgers' comments?
I don't like it. Skip, there have been times, I haven't played 14 years in the NFL, there's times we've lost games, and I know for certainty we were better than the team that we lost to. But I didn't make excuses. It wasn't about the travel. It wasn't about this or that. They played better than we did today, and they won the ball game. Aaron, just give them credit. I'm a firm believer. If you can say something like what he said, because he's talking about his team. He's talking about the guys that got there on Friday. So Friday, you're in close to L.A., so what? Guys probably went out Friday night, probably did something Saturday, yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
You can't address that behind closed doors? It's like, well, I know it sounds like you're making excuses. Yeah, you damn right it does, because that's what you're doing. You could have said, look, guys, as a leader, anytime we go, look, we go just a business trip. We here for work. We ain't there to see friends. Hey, I get all that. You might have family, but we're here to work. We didn't come to go shopping. We didn't come to go buy your wife or your girlfriend a purse or a new pair of shoes and go to dinner and all that. That's not what we came here for. We came to play and to win a game. But what Aaron said publicly, he could have said privately. This is the problem that I have with him. Stop doing this.
Thank you.
Address your team privately. You're the leader. You're the de facto leader. Call them and say, look, guys, the way we handled this road situation is unacceptable. You should have probably told them that beforehand. Look, guys, we're going to L.A., we're going to win a game. We're not there to go shopping. We're not going to go to the beach or go sit on somebody's patio and sightsee. We're going to play football. We're football players, and that's what we're going to do. Now, if you want to go back to L.A. in the offseason, have at it. But during the season, we go on road trips. We go to play and win ball games. This is what bothers me about him, because I'm a firm believer, Skip, if you say something publicly that could have been addressed privately, do it that way. Because guys are like, okay, I know. Come on, Aaron, you're better than this. Don't make excuses. That's still, because, so what? You think everybody, when you was on this winning streak, you think everybody was at home at 10 o'clock at night? You think everybody was where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to do? Don't make excuses when you lose, just like you don't make excuses when you win. You talk about you played well and all that. You didn't play well enough to win, and you're trying to reach and grasp for reasons why you lost. Give the other team credit, say we'll play better, there are things that we can correct, and move on.
Man, you're being shockingly objective today.
I'm always objective.
Are you?
That's what I do.
Not happy with him.
The less sleep, the more objective you get, right? Like that. You got to sleep less.
Honesty.
I can't sleep any less than the 4.5 hours I get a night.
There is nowhere else to go.
For me, this was classic, vintage Aaron Rodgers. This is who he's always been and who he will always be. As I always tell you, he leads the league year after year in blame deflecting and finger pointing. And he is the LeBron of the National Football League in that he will never take any blame. It's always got to be their fault. And his QBR on Sunday was 14.
Right.
It was the
2 points higher than the jersey number.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. And it was 4 points lower than Mitchell Trubisky's at Philadelphia. It was the worst of the NFL weekend. The worst, 14. And you're saying, don't look at me. Don't blame me. We got issues. And that was the first veiled shot he took at his young, new head coach, right? Because he's saying, well, we've got to be honest about our routine and the decisions we made the last 48 hours. And that, I think, is the shot to the top, to the coach.
Maybe next time we don't leave on a Friday, we leave on Saturday. Right.
Because they came 2 days early. And then he continued to take shots at the team. Maybe you didn't take care of yourself the right way, to all of the points that you just made.
It's harsh.
And my favorite part of this was, to your point, that he says, Aaron says, whether it was the trip, not everybody taking care of themselves, or maybe we're just tired, differences in temperature, but those are just excuses. Well, you just planted 4 excuses in a row in the psyches of Packer Nation. You know, you said, well, these are all the reasons we lost, but those are just excuses. Right. Just ignore those. No, you just made them, and then you tried to walk them back, basically, or disqualify them. Oh, well, they're just excuses. Well, you just made 4 in a row.
Right.
Way to go, Aaron. And he knows all too well, because he's the shrewdest of operators. He knows he just planted the seeds of excuses in everybody's mind, including the media's, where they'll say, well, maybe this was the other player's fault. Maybe it was Matt LaFleur's. The young coach screwed up. He chose the wrong routine to get ready for a game at Chargers.
It varies from team to team, Skip. In all my years of playing with Mike Shanahan, when I was in Denver playing under Mike Shanahan, we never went anywhere. I don't care if we were going to Miami. I don't care where we were going. Really? We went the day before. Now, we played with, when I was in Baltimore with Brian Billick, we go to Arizona, we leaving 2 days before. Yep. With no curfew. We went to the Super Bowl and didn't have curfew. Had one rule. Some coaches don't have a whole lot of rules when you go. He's like, I expect you to be men. I expect you to conduct yourself as men. Understand that everything that you do directly plays a role in how well we play. So you understand that. But, Skip, if we lost the game in Baltimore because we went west 2 days earlier, I wasn't going to use that because, hell, half the guys wasn't in. We had a night game was sneaking out and going to play. That's who they were. Don't make excuses, Skip. I hate when people make excuses when they lose. Eat it. Own it. We lost. We didn't play well enough. They played better than we did. Hey, there'll be another game, and we'll be ready to play. But when you start talking about the temperature, Skip, and I get it. Being in Denver, when you're in Denver, and here we go, we got to go sometime. We had to come to San Diego to play. Or we got to go, man, we got to go to a warm weather. It's been 20 degrees. Yeah, it's a change. But I ain't making that no excuse. I'm like, whoo, boy, this thing feel good. All of a sudden, I'm going from catching passes in 20 degrees to catching footballs in 75, 80, and I'm going to complain? I wish I might.
So I'm going to say this one more time. This is exactly why I'll take my quarterback over that quarterback. This is why Dak Prescott is the unquestioned leader of the Cowboys, because he doesn't do that.
No, he wouldn't do it because you know what happened? Is that he's been the leader for so long, and there's nobody to check him. He'd had one time to call that out, and I'm going to pull him to the side like, Aaron, this is how I think you should address it. Because it sends a bad message when you say these things publicly when you could have addressed it privately. That's the look. I've only been around one great, all-time great quarterback, and that's John. And that's the way, John Elway. Drop a pass, miss a block, whatever the case may be. He pull you to the side, he'll address us as a group. We need to play better, blah, blah, blah. I don't think our focus was where it needed to be. And that's the way he handled that. That's what leaders do. Why did the media, why did Packer Nation or anybody else need to know there was some things? Because what he's saying, I believe there were some guys that came to L.A. with an alternate, with a secret agenda. Football wasn't the only reason they were coming here. Bro, that's that privately.
Okay. So I think one member of the Packers hierarchy tried to put Aaron back in his place in the offseason. It was Mark Murphy, according to that Bleacher Report. Remember this? Where reportedly he told him on the phone when he was saying, I have hired the young Matt LaFleur. And he said, this was the quote, don't you be the problem. He repeated it twice, according to the report. Aaron has denied that. The others have denied, whatever. But that was the only time anybody, to me, tried to check him the way you're talking about checking him. So now he's being the problem. And I'm going to say this again about the way his season has gone. He has relied heavily on Aaron Jones. And I told you, to me, Aaron Jones has been the MVP of the Packers to date. Did you see what happened to Aaron Jones against the Chargers? He carried the ball 8 times for a grand total of 30 yards. He caught only one ball from -1 yards. And you know what he did to Dallas? He just tore Dallas apart.
What he did in Kansas City.
Okay? Huh?
And what he did in Kansas City.
Okay, what he did there. He went crazy. So all of a sudden, Aaron didn't have that security blanket. So that would be more of a valid excuse. Well,
I fought guys like Greg Jennings and Donald Driver, because the first time he started doing like this here and shrugging his hands.
There's a fine line there,
I'd have checked that.
Yeah, if you're motivating your teammates or if you throw them under the bus. How long do they want to deal with that?
But in those days, Aaron Rodgers was all caps Aaron Rodgers. He was unquestioned. You know, he was. It's hard for Greg Jennings to even you know, he's still a young receiver. I can't.
I did, Skip. I made the mistake. I was open one time, and John didn't throw me the ball, and I'm like,
Yeah.
pull me to the side.
Yeah.
Don't ever do that again.
Yep.
Huh.
Don't you think if I saw you open, I would have thrown you the ball?
Yeah. And conversely, he didn't do it to you either.
Never did it. Never did it. And that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
I understand there's hierarchy in any professional, in anything, Skip. But if you think I'm anything less than a man because you have a hierarchy, you're higher up in this organization than me, you're sadly mistaken.
The other thing about watching Aaron after the game was he was strangely upbeat to me. Like he didn't seem to be taking it very hard as the leader of the team, the tone setter. You know, after the Patriots got run over at Baltimore, Brady was
like
taking it hard.
Like a morgue.
Belichick and Brady both is just like.
Well, I can't tell with Coach Belichick.
No.
Coach Belichick is always a morgue.
But Brady was not happy.
Right.
And Aaron seemed sort of relatively like.
And normally, Skipper, you lose a game, the worse you play, the more somber you are. Because you understand that my play directly affects how we go offensively. And especially when you're Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, they know they need to play well in order for their teams to win. So normally, if you play bad, you're like, hey, I stunk it up today. I didn't play well enough. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear nothing about no weather. I don't want to hear nothing about no travel itinerary.
The Packers' loss was worse than the New England loss. They got beaten worse than the Patriots got beaten.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yes.
It reminded me